Right. So your mind is capable of so many things, but you'll find that the different limitations that you have when you want to achieve the different things that you think you can achieve. So we're going to look at the six limits that you have that sometimes you're not really aware of, but you actually do experience them as you go. So we're going to call this your wheel of six limitations because these are things that you revolve around in your life as you do what you think you're doing, and then you discover that you're not able to actually achieve the things that you want to achieve. So the first thing is security. Sometimes we call it fear, sometimes we call it lack acceptance, or the fear of tomorrow, or thinking. But at the back of your mind, there's always that survival instinct. So when you want to do things, you think, if I do this and if I fail, I'm going to become extinct. So you start thinking of your security and you start thinking, if I'm going to survive, then I have to preserve myself. So you're not willing to actually endeavor to go out there and try to achieve the things that you want because you want to be secure so that your tomorrow is okay. Unfortunately, when you listen to that, you don't really achieve much in life. Then, number two, your personal experience. So you'll find sometimes we use statements like, oh, back in the day, I have seen, my experience tells me, we used to. These are all self fulfilling personal experiences that you had that told you that you couldn't make it, and therefore you listen to it. So maybe you tried a business before and you failed and you lost $100 or you lost $5,000, and so you decide that I'm not going to try again because my personal experience told me that I wouldn't make it. An example of such a person, probably that everyone knows, would be like Thomas Edison. There's this whole thing that how many times did he try to make the bulb and he failed. But if he had stopped trying because of his personal experience, he would have never made it to where he was or what he actually achieved. Then, number three, your observation in other people's lives. So, this goes the way where you're saying, I've seen what so and so did and they failed. So maybe you saw your brother, maybe you saw your sister trying out certain things and they failed. And because you have seen that, you start thinking that it wouldn't work in your own life. And so you don't do it in any way. Then, number four, advice from life experts. Now, if someone like Bill Gates back in the day when he was working on Windows and had listened to what everyone said, he might not have actually come up with Microsoft. There might be no Microsoft. Or even Mark Zuckerberg for Facebook. People could have told him that no, you can't have such a website as Facebook. It wouldn't work. It's just a ridiculous idea. Or you find someone like Strive Masiyiwa in Zimbabwe who was told that there was only one market for cell phones, which was him and his wife. So some experts will tell you that the country is overbanked. They'll tell you there are too many telecommunications, and because everyone is giving you advice, you tend to listen to those life experts, and you're thinking they could not be wrong. There's no way they could be wrong. And sometimes your life experts can be your friends, your parents, the books, the TV, or the radio. This becomes one of those limitations that is very difficult to move away from. Then, number five, your personal experiences, or rather, not your personal experience, but your personal preferences. This is different from your personal experience in that your personal experience is what you have gone through, but your preference is more about your emotions, your addictions, and your habits. So, let's say maybe you want to study for a new program or a master's degree, and your habits are such that you don't like waking up early, or you want to go out most of the time. Such personal preferences can become a hindrance or a limitation on what you want to achieve in life. So your emotions that I don't like so and so might actually stop you from getting into the real partnerships or going to places that can actually make your dreams come true. So maybe your dream could come true if you go to Mozambique, or your dream could come true if you go to New York, but because of your emotions or your addictions, you tend to have a personal preference of where you want to go. So you stay localized and you actually don't achieve the things you want to achieve. And finally, number 6, education. The way we are educated can become a limitation. So maybe you've got a degree in IT, but it so happens that you're very good in selling, but you're a programmer. If you stay a programmer, you might never actually tap into a market where you could sell and make $1 million in a specific product. So maybe the product that you want to sell are children's toys, and it so happens that you've got a very good market for children's toys. If you don't go out and do something, you might never sell and achieve those. Now, these are the 6 limitations that you can face within your life, but it's up to you to decide which ones you actually do not listen to, or you observe, or you do not observe.